Hey guys, welcome back to the Far Post. I'm Ryan alongside Brian, and we have a really special interview today. We have an interview with Jamaican international goalkeeper Ryan Thompson. So Ryan, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hello, everybody. How you guys doing?
We're doing well. We're doing well,
We're
Ryan.
doing great. We're doing great. We're just excited to have you on.
Okay, good, man. It's a little bit chilly here in Tampa.
Yeah, well, it's probably a lot warmer than Pittsburgh up here, but you'll be feeling that soon. So.
I can only imagine, brother.
All right, so we're gonna get right ahead. Go right ahead and start off some of the questions. We want to talk about your move to the USL Pro. What you're expecting from the 2015 campaign with the Pittsburgh Riverhounds.
Honestly, just looking forward and just getting to meet my new teammates, coaching staff. First and foremost, try to get the ground running. Go in there and try to contribute the minutes I start practicing and playing games, winning trophies. Getting the fans, getting the community, getting everybody involved. So I'm really looking forward to that, and of course, enjoying the city itself.
Yeah, it's definitely a great city. As we were talking earlier, there's a lot you can do in Pittsburgh. For all our viewers who've never been to Pittsburgh, definitely recommend going and seeing this guy play in the Riverhounds because they're a real up-and-coming team and great facilities. So
yeah, the facility downtown, Highmark
awesome.
Stadium. I think they're entering their third season with it. It's a beautiful stadium. You can see the entire downtown skyline right behind it. So the atmosphere is definitely there. The Steel Army, the supporters group, they'll always be there in numbers to support the team. And
are you having a lot of those guys contact you yet, Ryan? The Steel Army?
Yeah, quite a few people message me on not Instagram, Twitter.
On Twitter, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so I'm pretty excited to meet everybody. It seemed really cool and seem very supportive, which is very good. It's always good to have genuine people behind you whenever you're playing.
Yeah, a lot of familiar faces. It's really a close knit community, I would say, too, with the Riverhounds. So that's awesome.
That's very important for me.
Mm-hmm. You're right, definitely. So you've actually had a lot of opportunities in the past to play abroad in Europe, but we kind of wanted to start off with your experience at Tampa and kind of where you got started there and kind of how you ended up having some of these amazing experiences. Like we actually saw that you were the first ever Jamaican player to appear in the Champions League. So, I mean, did you ever expect that when you enrolled at Tampa that a few years later you'd be playing for Shamrock Rovers in the Champions League?
You know what? Life have a funny way of happening. You just have to just show yourself out there and be willing to fly and express yourself. I remember leaving Jamaica. My family. I didn't want to leave. One, but two, I had no choice because I needed to go to school. I needed to get my degrees, and I needed to play at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So I jumped at the opportunity, went to school, did well. I was hoping to get drafted in the MLS, but that didn't happen. When that didn't happen, you just gotta keep trying, keep going. I went to PDL, played PDL at IMG for a bit, played in Maine the last time after I graduated. And then, out of nowhere, the opportunity presented itself to go to Ireland, and I jumped at it again, just taking chances. I went over there, did well enough for them to offer me a contract in the first week of my trials.
Wow.
And it was just amazing, to be honest, amazing. Just proved to me that anything is possible once you just be willing to just show yourself out there and work.
Yeah, we actually featured a little bit about the Airtricity League, the Irish Premier League, a little while back in our show. You want to talk a little bit about it, the fans, the culture, the club culture, the Shamrock Rovers and their history, what you experienced there, how you liked, the opportunity and you got to play there.
Honestly, best time of my life.
Mm-hmm.
It is the best time of my life. I've always heard about Ireland. I've met a few Irish people before. I have a lot of Irish friends. In college and stuff. But I never knew how passionate these people were until I actually lived there. They're great people. They're very supportive. Of course, if you're on the wrong side, you don't want to be on the wrong side with them.
No, definitely not with those guys. Yeah.
But again, I had the time of my life over there in Ireland. Everybody was like, it's like my extended family there. I could go there to this day. I still talk to people from Ireland. In the games, they made me feel like I'm just like them, and that was very important, to be honest. Shamrock Rovers, great history, great traditions, and
yeah.
it was just blessing for me to leave from here to go join a club like that. I could have gone to any other club there, but out of nowhere, it was Shamrock Rovers.
Yeah, it just happened to be the Shamrock Rovers, though.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
luck of the Irish, or maybe I should say the luck of the Jamaican. It was great. It was great, to be honest.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, so moving kind of more recently into some of the experience you've had with the Jamaican national team, we actually saw you were called up for a friendly in Japan this past October. So, I mean, what was that like playing against, I mean, obviously a World Cup caliber team, like these star-studded players shooting at you, and you had such a great performance. You really were like a stone wall in goal. So, I mean, what can you say about this experience, really?
Well, again, words is so hard to explain the feeling of these games, that moment. But what I can say is, once you prepare, man, opportunities will come, and that was the same thing for me. I was here in Tampa, sitting on the bench for a little bit. So someone was sitting on the bench every day. I kept working. Got that phone call from a national team early in the year. Okay, you need to be here. And I kept going, sitting on the bench again. And out of nowhere, this opportunity presented itself again to play against Japan. And I grabbed it. Of course, I was nervous, playing in front of 44,000 and more supporters, playing against Shinji Kagawa, Honda, you go on and name these players.
Nuts, yeah.
But to stand up against these guys, let's build my confidence. Anything's possible, man. Just once you prepare and have faith in yourself and your talent and what you can do,
Yeah, no, of course. And talking about the Jamaican side, you guys always have a dangerous team and a lot of talent. And you want to talk about a little bit about your head coach, what style of soccer he's brought to Jamaica, to your national team, maybe the development of it, and talk a little bit about maybe the upcoming Gold Cup, your expectations from the Jamaican side, and what you guys are looking forward to doing this summer.
I'm very thankful for the coach we have now, because first and foremost, he was the one that brought me back in the national setting.
Uh-huh.
I've been in the national program since I was like 17, playing with the U20s, U23, and ever since I came to college, I was neglected. I don't know what was the reason behind all that, but thank God this coach came back. He gave me an opportunity earlier this year again to be back in the team as a regular player. And I could see where he's doing. He's always looking out for the talent. He's always doing his homework. All corners and crevices he searches for players, which is good. We need that. We need coaches like that. His ideology is he needs players to be playing. Everybody should be technically sound and, be passionate, willing to go out there and die for the country,
Yeah, yeah.
And of course, he's attracting more and more players from Europe, there's a lot of Jamaicans out there in Europe, Asia, here in America, not in South America, in Central America. There's a lot of Jamaicans all over, and he will find them. He has found a few of us again. So, again, it's going to be very good come this summer with the Gold Cup and the Copa America, because we're going to feel a strong team. A lot of players. It's very competitive. Goalkeeping position is very competitive. Defense lineup is very competitive. And go right through. Forward and midfielders. It's going to be very competitive. So we should have a very good team this summer, It's exciting times ahead.
And we're excited.
Jamaica.
Yeah, we're real excited to see. It's always a great matchup. U.S. team versus Jamaica, vice versa with other CONCACAF teams. Always close games. Always a lot of intensity.
Yes.
And so we're real excited to see the passion out there this summer. So.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah, it should be a great Gold Cup, no questions asked. There's obviously the Jamaican sides always have so much pace out on the field, and there's going to be a lot of intensity. I know me and Brian are going to be attending some of the games. There's actually some quarterfinal games that are actually taking place in Philadelphia, New York, which is actually where we
Where we're
live.
from, so yeah.
So who knows, Ryan? Maybe we'll see you out there on the field.
Who knows, man? Who knows? Fingers crossed, man. Hopefully, I'm there, man. Hopefully, I'm there.
Yeah, we'll definitely be there supporting you on day one.
It'll be tough. It'll be tough to cheer. It'll be tough to cheer against you guys now. I'll be honest.
Yeah, it'll be a little bit torn.
It's by default. You guys are no Jamaican.
I know. Don't let our viewers know.
We talk up the U.S. team a lot on this show, so we might have to edit.
They might
this part
forgive us
out.
though. Yes.
It's okay when USA is not playing against Jamaica. I'm going for USA.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
You probably won yourself some new fans right there.
Yeah, so best of luck in the season with the Riverhounds. Hopefully, great form. obviously you're going to have some obligations with them because you're going to be playing a lot, hopefully. So
Yep.
we were wondering actually if there was a possibility that we'd be able to sign you on a 1-day contract with our intramural team at the University of Pittsburgh. Do you think this is be an option you'd explore?
Let
You
me
could talk to
let
your
me check
agent.
with my agent, see what he thinks about.
Yeah, so,
It'd be interesting to see a national team player in those mini goals here we have at the University of Pittsburgh
Oh my
playing
God.
intramurals.
I'll for sure come and visit the campus and you guys for sure. I can promise you that much. Maybe come watch a couple games or two there. Who knows?
Okay.
But
excellent,
playing,
Ryan.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, you
I'm
gotta
not
see
sure.
what you're allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do. No.
Exactly. So
Exactly.
we want to wish, but we want to wish you the best of luck this season with the Riverhounds. This upcoming Gold Cup and everything with Jamaica with the national team. We hope to see you out there on both ends, and we're so excited to have you here in the city of Pittsburgh, and I hope you embrace it just as the fans will too, and I know you will. So thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks,
Thank you
Ryan.
very much, man. Appreciate it, and all the best. I'm really looking forward to meeting everybody, and it's been a great season, pretty much. Thank you.
You too. Thanks,
Great.
Ryan.
Thank you again, Ryan.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Thanks, guys. I'm Dusty, and I got an extra spicy showing of skills from Mr. Wilfried Bony. Roll it! Oh, a delightful touch. Size up your man, Mr. Bony. Oh! Nutmeg Elastico! Pull up your pants, young man. Take a seat. He's a big, strong African with great moves. Great pickup for City. Bolster their attack. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Dustin, for that always captivating clip of the week. Now we're going to be moving into the United States men's national team and some recent happenings that have really been going on. Jurgen Klinsmann was actually recently interviewed on Fox Sports 1, and he was kind of talking about some changes that he wants to see in the MLS season and kind of what some of his thoughts are about MLS players coming home to the United States. Yes, he sees it as United States players coming home as we're getting to see a showcase of some of the top quality players back in the States, some of the top guys on the national team. But at the same time, they're not getting that quality of play that they're getting in the top 5 leagues in Europe,
Exactly, and Klinsmann said essentially, and I mean, you can't fault the guy. The man knows soccer. The man knows football. He said that when the American players are in Europe, they're a small fish in a big pond. When they come back to the United States, they're a big fish in a small pond. And I mean, rightly so in some respects. And you see a lot of these players come in through the allocation process. Guys like Jermaine Jones, they come in and they make a huge difference right away. And it's great. I mean, it's great for these teams. It's great for example, the New England Revolution. But at the same time, what does it really do for their careers? And one could argue that it benefits them being stateside and being able to play in a lot of these CONCACAF friendlies, which are currently coming up. But at the same time, for their careers moving forward, guys who are in their late 20s, who could still be at the top of their game in Europe, is it really beneficial to be in the United States?
I think a lot of the guys right now are really cashing in on these MLS teams that are willing to put up some money for them, really. And there's been a splurge of U.S. players coming home. When we were watching that U.S.-Chile game, we're looking at all the star players on the United States men's national team. We're like, look, actually they're all MLS guys now, which is crazy because when you look at it just 2 years ago, there were just a few MLS players that were really in the mix for the team.
Yeah, and a lot of guys playing these games now where MLS guys went over to Europe and then obviously now have come back to MLS, guys like Greg Shea, Josie Altidore, who both scored in that game.
They did.
So, and if they were still in England right now, then they wouldn't have played in that friendly. So, right there, that added some added quality. Them just being available for those, quick, friendly games, friendly appearances, obviously reap some benefits for the United States team.
Yeah, it's good to have him back in the CONCACAF Confederation, but at the same time, Klinsmann was calling for a longer season, an 11-month season, as opposed to the 9-month one we currently have. And my only concern with that is the cold weather climates. I know this is a hot topic that always gets talked about, is who's going to go to a game in Toronto in February? Who's going to go to a game, well, at least in Montreal, they have an indoor stadium, which helps a little bit. But even in cities like New England, up in Foxborough, and New York City FC, the Red Bulls, it's just not very feasible. And even New York's has had its trouble with attendances, filling up Red Bull Arena. And I can only imagine in February in those cold temperatures, there's not going to be many people wanting to go to games.
We can call out certain fan bases, and I can easily do it. I mean, you see which clubs have spotty fans, which fans are fair weather fans. And I mean, right now in Major League Soccer, there's quite a few. I mean, besides Seattle and Portland, and you could even argue the LA Galaxy in some respects are kind of spotty. I mean, they'll throw out 22,000 one game, the next game they'll have 16,000. Rightly so with other teams on the East Coast. So when you bring cold weather into the picture, especially up in Toronto, up in Montreal, where Montreal's had some problems with attendance.
They have.
Obviously, New York, the Red Bulls, like you said, yeah, it doesn't look good for the MLS right now. I mean, this is something that they can maybe do further, maybe in like 10, 15, 20 years when the soccer culture
is ready for it.
But right now it's not.
Yeah, I really think that the soccer culture just really isn't there yet that's going to be able to support that. And there may be a few years down the line where it is something that's looked at, kind of transitioning to that European schedule. Because just in these friendlies, I mean, you could see in the Chile game, their fitness just wasn't there. They're playing preseason. The Chileans featured an all domestic side for the most part, and they're in mid-season down there because they're in the summer in our winter months. Yeah. So you could really see the disparity of play. And I really think Klinsmann is trying to get us on that global mindset, kind of get us in that UEFA. I mean, obviously he wants all the players playing over in Europe, but on top of that, if they are going to play in MLS, he's like, at least we should adopt a European schedule. And I don't think we're ready for that yet. I think Don Garber and Klinsmann kind of have this ongoing feud over that. But in the next 10 to 15 years, we'll have to see how that develops.
And there are a couple arguable benefits of it, though. With the World Cup, you're mid-season in MLS, whereas a lot of these European clubs.
That's true as well. Yet they have their off season in the summer as well. Yeah,
exactly. And our fitness levels at that point in time, they're probably comparable because they're training for the World Cup, and obviously these European teams set up friendlies to prep for it. But there's nothing like being in a mid-season form, which a lot of these MLS squads are. So I do like the summer months playing over the summer, but Klinsmann would like to see it extend a little further into the winter, which ultimately could be a problem. But if we are talking about playoffs in the wintertime, then the attendance might be there anyway because it is playoff time.
It's playoff time. So, I mean, you saw up in New England, they had, I think, 34,000 fans. It was starting to look like an atmosphere like they had up in Seattle.
Which is one of the fan bases that I was alluding to earlier that's kind of spotty.
One of the northern ones, yeah. But playoff time, fair weather fans they may be. Yeah. But in any case, we're going to be moving on now to your guys' favorite segment. Our favorite segment, the League of the Week. This week we're actually going to be featuring the South African Premier Division, which is the top flight in South Africa. It was actually founded in 1996, and I'm sure you guys remember just a few years ago, the 2010 World Cup was a huge success down in South Africa. I know in Brazil there's been kind of some struggles amongst the people. They didn't really want to host the event because of all the financial trouble that they're in right now. But South Africa, it really was a successful World Cup, and I think it was one of my favorite in recent history. Within the domestic league, there's really a couple teams that really stand out head and shoulders ahead of the bunch, and that's really the Kaiser Chiefs and Orlando Pirates. And these are two of the biggest teams in South Africa, and they have some recognition worldwide as well. If you actually, in FIFA, if you go to the rest of the world, there are a couple of the teams that are included. But there's really a disparity in the level of play between the top teams and the lower teams, and that's kind of because they don't really have these financial fair play regulations that go on in a lot of UEFA leagues as well as the MLS, because you guys know how structured that is, like with allocation money and all of Don Garber's strange rules. Well, no one really knows what goes on.
But no one knows what really goes on. But when it comes down to it, it's been working. And with a lot of, with this league, with the Premier League in South Africa, you also have a huge disparity in attendance. Mm-hmm. I mean, we were looking at it, and high for attendance last year was I believe it was somewhere around 71,000, whereas the low was 100. And
it makes no sense.
That really makes no sense. And I mean, you look at the capacities of a lot of these stadiums. Obviously, certain areas like Cape Town are going to be where all the financial capitals are. Those stadiums are going to have a better venue compared to the Bidvest Wits who play in the Gauteng province, which is a lot less economically structured. So, so I mean, that's 5,000 right there for their capacity. So, I mean, you have discrepancies in capacity. You have discrepancy in, which teams have money, which teams don't, and, what players can they sign. But, I mean, looking at the South African national team in the 2010 World Cup, they performed fairly well. They really did, So, I mean, their domestic league, the Kaiser Chiefs are another team that is relevant. And
some recognition.
Some recognition. The domestic league right now has been improving, and especially since 1996, it really has improved.
Yeah, and I think one other thing, just to note, with kind of the disparity of play, I kind of see the South African Premier Division as kind of the polar opposite of MLS and what we do not want MLS to be. I know there's a lot of people out there that are calling for more DPs, for being able to sign more high-profile players, and yes, we definitely want that, but if we let that happen too fast and we try to make too many drastic changes, I think we could be looking at the South African Premier Division as being the
Yeah,
MLS.
but you can't really knock on South Africa Premier Division in a way because a lot of these leagues in Africa aren't really well known, whereas this is one of the leagues that is well known, and this is a country that did support a World Cup. So I mean, you can say that the South African, compared to the United States Major League Soccer, compared to European leagues, yes, it's struggling. It's not really there, but the grand scheme of things in Africa, they've produced a lot of good domestic players for their league, and they've continued to have a couple teams that are namely around the world. So you can argue that South Africa is also one of like I was saying earlier, one of the more economic capitals, powerhouses in Africa.
Absolutely.
So it goes to show with money comes a good league, which money comes players and contracts. I mean, look at Tim Cahill just signing for $10 million in China.
Oh my God!
So I mean,
going off a little tangent there, Tim Cahill. I'm a big Red Bulls fan, as you guys know. He's getting paid $3.5 million with the Red Bulls, which honestly, with his performance in 2014, I thought he was getting overpaid.
Yeah.
And then he goes to China, and I think he's getting 10 million Australian dollars, which is like 7.5 million US dollars, which I think is getting completely overpaid. But that's just me.
No, I mean, he is getting overpaid, but he's a player within the region, the Asian region where people know him.
Yes.
So
he wanted to be closer to home, I think, because the Australian national team definitely is his focus now.
And I can't blame him. Why turn down that money? Like a lot of MLS players coming from Europe back to the MLS to get paid $3-4 million. If you can get paid $7.5 million, virtually double
as a 35-year-old
getting paid in the United States,
yeah.
and be closer to your national team, which
is a pretty easy decision for him. I think
arguably his head's more on the national team level than club level anyway. Like we saw with the Red Bulls, the Socceroos might benefit from this. And they just had some success recently, didn't they?
Yeah, down in the Asian Cup.
Yeah.
Name's slipping me right now, but they actually beat South Korea. Tim Cahill is a huge achievement for him. That was kind of his.
Scored 2 goals.
He scored 2 goals
and that's in
the lead up. Yeah,
and that's where the Chinese coach actually saw him. Was very impressed with his play and awarded him that big contract after. So it goes to show. I mean, we always see him performing on the national team level.
What he can do on
amazing.
The club level was that 1 year with the Red Bulls, 2013. He was absolutely phenomenal. The team MVP. And it's going to be interesting to see what he can do with this new Chinese club. They signed players like Didier Drogba and Nicolas Anelka in the past, and they didn't really transition well with the Chinese culture. I think Drogba might have only played like 10 games or so, 8 games. And but Tim Cahill, I mean, he's from the area. He's going to be closer to home. I honestly see it being a great fit for him at this point in his career.
Yeah, well, we got off on a tangent there. There's
a little bit.
The league of the week is the South African Premier League. Really, not much to say about the South African Premier League besides the relevant teams which we have mentioned.
Yeah.
And the increasing competition within the domestic league and also the national team, which has hosting the World Cup in 2010. Hopefully, we'll make another appearance. Who knows? But African play is getting better, so you never know. But
definitely improving. But at this point, we're gonna actually send it off to Dustin, and he's gonna be giving you guys the stoppage time picks of the week. So enjoy those.
Thanks, guys. Dustin here with your stoppage time picks of the week. Right off the bat, Tuesday, got my firecracker pick of the week. Taking Liverpool over the Lily Whites. Yes, I'm aware of the table. No, I don't care. Liverpool has too much talent to not go with the upset here. But Wednesday, my upset pick of the week, I got Everton over Chelsea. Bold. I know. Friday, Aaron Johansson's AZ Alkmaar over PSV and Eredivisie. Saturday, we go south of the Rio Grande and have Monterrey and Puebla. I'm taking Monterrey because Monterrey Jack is my favorite cheese. Maybe melt some on some nice hard rolls or sprinkle some on some nachos and make yourself a nice snack. You could cut up some slices and dip it in mustard like the classy gentleman or gentlewoman you are. Sunday, FA Cup, Middlesbrough Arsenal. Sorry, Middlesbrough. You had a good run. You beat Chelsea, but that was a fluke, a phony, a rift in football fate. Guns are going to redeem English Premiership. So bounce to the universe. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Dustin, for those picks. And I want to say one thing, Dustin. Pretty soon we're going to hold you accountable. Once MLS season starts, we're going to keep track of your picks. And if you're wrong, then we might have to get rid of Dustin. His Dustin segments might be over, and we're scrapping it.
We'll have to see how he does. We have Champions League coming up as well, so he might track his performance. But again, we hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you back here next Monday on the Far Post.
Yeah, guys, and keep watching MLS. A lot of preseason games and a lot of news coming up. But that does it for us. Like Ryan just said, I'm sorry. But yeah, we'll talk to you guys next Monday. We'll see you next Monday, and like always, it's a pleasure.
See you guys.
See you guys.